Hey everybody, and welcome to the Prod Pod, episode 8. Brian, is that what it is?
Is that what the name we're going with the show now? It's just officially Prod Pod?
I have to say, spitting out Prodigal Sons podcast episode blankety blank is a real mouthful, and Prod Pod is a lot easier to say.
Yeah, I think I actually tweeted saying like, come listen to the next Prod Pod recently. Or I hashtagged Prod Pod. That'll be our hashtag whenever we want to ask listeners anything on the tweeter.
It does sound like an S&M sexual position to me, but whatever works.
Yes, I believe we are episode 8, sir. Getting back to the original question.
Okay, episode 8. My name is Jared. With me, as always, is...
I'm Brian.
And I'm Ian.
Ian in a small enclosed bathroom.
Calling it in. Phoning it in this week. Literally.
Ian, where are you right now?
I am in a town called Sparks, which is about a mile or 4 outside of Reno, Nevada.
Ian's on vacation and still decided to do the podcast with us this week.
Oh, there's even more dedication that we'll find out about later.
Holy smokes, is there ever.
Yeah, that's true.
On the upside, it's semi-glorious out here.
How so?
Yeah, semi and what?
Everything out here has gambling in it. Like, there's, kind of low-rent casinos everywhere. There's a couple of nice casinos all over the place. But then realized I forgot my toothbrush, so my wife and I ran down to the CVS, corner of the CVS, blocked off for a bank of slot machines.
I mean, where else would you play slot machines, of course?
Well, CVS, of course. We went to the Safeway.
You never know when the urge is going to strike you.
I don't, other than I was unfortunately in a Walmart today, I haven't seen any other establishments that don't have at least one slot machine in them. It's pretty excellent.
What about hookers? Are there any hookers in the CVS? I know that's legal in Nevada, right?
Not in the CVS, but there are designated hooker areas in and around here.
So when you go to the CVS and you're getting your medication from the pharmacist, he's like, I also offer. Not like that.
They didn't mention anything like that, but semi nearby there is or at least a branch of it. There's the Mustang Ranch as well, and I'm sure there's several other establishments that don't necessarily have advertisements that I've seen yet for.
You seem to know a lot about this.
I'm trying to learn.
Actually, the CVS would be a good place for the hookers to hang out because they could just talk to. You could be like the pharmacist. Like, the pharmacist saw me. I took my meds today.
It's a one-stop shop.
My herp is in remission.
Here's my clean bill of health.
Yeah, 100% clean.
I only charge $20 for a Prod Pod.
Just keep working it in. That's what she said.
I thought it kind of went over your heads before.
He's a company man.
All right. Well, so we know what Ian's doing. Brian, how was your weekend?
Non exciting in any fashion. And in fact, I've completely forgotten right now what I did all weekend. I am completely serious.
You have no recollection of what you did.
No, I had some friends over on Saturday night, and we had planned to do a little drinking and play a little board games, but we just sat there and drank and ate and talked instead. And I had a listener over. My friend Brian was saying how much he enjoyed the show and wanted to know why Ian always sounds like he's calling in from the middle of a tin can every week.
Ian does the show from Mars.
Yeah. But I had pleasant conversations about the show and some compliments, and then we just talked about other stuff. Some of the news items that we're going to be talking about were some of the things that we had talked about this weekend, and just random other stuff. It was good to have some people over and play and drink and booze it up, and the kids were in bed. I don't get to do it often, so that was my weekend. Very
nice. I miss playing board games. I have nobody to play board games with, and I really want to play board games.
Come on out. I got the risk game.
Yeah, I also forgot to mention Adam is here with me today too. I put him on mics, and so when he does say something, you don't have to yell it over. But he's not going to talk.
Is he the man? Is he going to do the man in the box?
Yeah, he was man in the box.
I'm the man in the box.
But now I'm excited because he just said he'll play board games with me.
Ooh,
yeah, but
things are looking up for you.
Listen. I don't own any board games. I'm an only child. All right, so board games are like a big deal for me because I never got to play them. They were bought for me sometimes, and I would just sit there and stare at them.
Which reminds me, so this isn't very good stuff, but it's unrelated. I was bored at work. I finally broke down and listened to some of our shows. I think I told you this. Not that bad.
Okay.
I was, like
it was not nearly as shitty as I thought it was going to be.
I really expected it. The only thing that really caught my attention was, again, makes me wonder why you would invite me to do something like this. I have possibly the most shrill, awful sounding voice I've ever heard.
Oh, we know.
It makes you unique.
It's atrocious. I don't belong on radio at all. I'm ashamed of myself, and I appreciate the fact that you include me in spite of that.
You stand out amongst the two of us.
Did you listen to the episode? Do you remember the episode where I impersonated you?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Do you remember that?
Oh yes, I do, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, okay.
I also like that it's been 7 shows now, and Ian finally decided to listen to one.
I felt really bad listening to the show. I should take up smoking and develop a smooth-sounding radio voice.
Smooth.
Can you try doing a deeper voice? Have you ever tried that?
It just sounds.
Please.
Sounds so unnatural.
Please.
I'll see what I can come up with.
No, right now. Try it.
I'm working on it. Hang on.
You're working on it.
I can't even do it. I just
Are you
laugh.
extending your nutsack or something? What are you doing?
Nope. I was trying to develop some voice in my head that I could deliver. I don't know. See the.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I don't. My voice is not made for this. I apologize. Let's soldier on.
Move on.
Surely, tell me some news that I haven't heard.
I'm probably gonna skip all this out anyway, but because I want to go on my board game rant.
Oh, well, then go right ahead. We can go back to the board games.
Well, you know what it is. Even though I'm happy that will you really play board games with me? Because I was at the store the other day, and I saw Game of Thrones, the board game, which looks completely like involved and crazy and backstabbing. Awesome. You've played it?
Yes.
Oh, you fucking dick! I would do that.
For a dude who's on microphone, I can't hear him.
You can't hear him?
No.
Right, he's adjusting, but anyway.
Okay.
He's insisting that we get beers and play, but now I have to go back and buy this game. But I've been dying to play this. I actually watch YouTube videos on it and shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely involved, but you'll have to play it because every time I've played it, the Greyjoys always win, and I don't know what to do.
Do
cut off their penises?
It's very hard. They have a strong starting position, and all their bonuses are combat oriented, and they just dice up the other families.
So is it like Axis and Allies and Risk, but with Game of Thrones?
Semi. It's a little easier than both of those games.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, not
easier than Risk.
No, it's not easier than Risk, but it's way easier than Axis and Allies. Everything's easier than Axis and Allies.
Oh, I love Axis and Allies. I haven't played that in like 20 years.
But yeah, absolutely. Game of Thrones is worth the time investment. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I can't decide between that or the Serenity board game.
Ooh, I didn't even know that existed.
Yes, and I might actually pick up the Serenity board game because you can play it by yourself, which is really pathetic. But
does it come with a sad trombone sound?
I know so. All right, cool. I'm happy now. I might actually go pick this up now. Now I just have to wrangle you guys up, and maybe we'll do it on a Sunday after we. Yeah, I like this. I like where this is going.
That's
boys.
The idea for another podcast right there.
What? I'll play the game and then give a review of it?
No, just play the game on the air and have people sitting around the microphone yelling at each other.
And then actually, if we ever have a reunion between the three of us, we'll all get together and play Serenity or Game of Thrones.
We're not going to take up Risk again?
Did we play Risk?
Do you not remember the marathon Risk game we had at the coffee shop?
With Seller? Yeah.
No, I do not remember that.
Where it went all night, and it just happened to be around Christmas break, and they were staying open for 24 hours or something like that, and we were there like the entire time, and then we went and did the show the next morning.
Was that when?
Was that during finals?
It had to be. Well, it had to be either that or like right after it.
No, I think I do remember. This was remember they were staying open 24 hours because they were doing that haircut for cancer thing. Right. And we did a remote from there.
We did.
And I guess to pass the time we played. Why do I not remember Risk though?
I don't know.
Because you're a bad friend.
But we played Risk all night, and then we went and stayed up all night, and then did the radio show again.
Wow, I do not remember that. I do remember that I didn't want to do the remote because I hated doing remotes, and I hated like being around people and people looking at me while I did it. Stop looking at me, Adam.
No.
You fucking dick.
So.
I do remember that. I remember going into the bathroom with the cell phone and doing the remote.
Quality.
Yeah. I don't like people looking at me.
So yeah, this group of friends that I had come over, that we do usually get together and play board games, and we like play Munchkin and Cards Against Humanity and some other random games. This week they brought Cthulhu. Are you in league with Cthulhu or something like that? Is the name of the card game. We just never got a chance to play it. We have all kinds of weird like hobby style games, like not the Game of Life or Sorry,
Man, I need some adult friends where I can get together and do some adult shit, like play games.
Yeah, that's what adults do. They get together and drink and play board games.
Yeah, because when I go out with these guys, we actually go to a fucking bar and actually mingle with other people.
Fuck yeah.
That sounds exhausting.
Oh, it's actually not that bad. We keep to ourselves and play pool.
I wouldn't call it mingling.
Yeah. We go to bars where there's not a lot of women and just a lot of rednecks sitting around. But and that actually leads me into what I did this weekend.
Rednecks?
You're damn well, sort of. Maybe on the other end of the spectrum. I had another online date on Saturday night.
Oh, fantastic! I can't wait.
You're saying another as if you've ever spoken about one on the show.
Well, I know you guys know. I've never I haven't spoken about it on the show. I've cut them out. But I do a lot of adventures in online dating, and there was one that I told these guys that they fucking loved, but I couldn't tell it again. I might be able to tell that again, maybe 2 or 3 podcasts down from the road.
Yeah,
I'll be safe.
It's too close.
It's way too close because I'm still getting text messages.
Yeah.
I've been told by a friend of mine that I really need to vet my dates a little bit more before I go out. Especially if it's close, I don't even give a shit. I'll just throw caution to the wind and be like, yeah, whatever. At the very least, I'll get drunk. I go out to this bar, which, by the way, Adam, we need to head back to this bar. I don't want to say the name over the air, but there was a lot of broads there.
Over the air.
And you could smoke, and they got Guinness on tap. That's all you need to know.
That's good.
All right? So I checked everything for us, and they got a pool table, so it's all good. So I go out there, and I'm waiting because I hate to sit in a bar by myself. Finally, she shows up. She texts me. She's like, oh, I'm standing outside. So I get out of my car, walk over. I'm looking at her, and I go, oh, no. It's not this doughy, short midget, is it? Ah, fuck, it is. I could see her texting me. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, there was no body shots in her fucking profile.
You didn't just turn around and take your phone out and like text her to hear if her phone went off and then just kept walking in the other direction?
I'm a gambling man, Brian, and I do truly try to find the good in all these situations. I was like, maybe something can happen will come out of this. I'm not willing to base it solely on. I'm not that shallow where it's not like she had like a third eye or anything like that. She was just kind of pudgy.
At the very least, you get a good story for the Prod Pod.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, oh, this will all be material for the show.
I'll give her the Prod Pod, and then I'll have material for the Prod Pod.
The Prod Pod stayed firmly where it normally should be. In my cat's ass.
Oh.
That'll be cut. Well, I need to light a cigarette for this.
Oh my god.
It's not, you know what? I feel bad because it's not really nearly as good as the last story. I meet her, we say hello and this and that, and we walk inside, and I'm like getting a better look at her face and shit like that. And I'm like, she's not that good looking, man. She kind of looks like, I don't even know how to explain what she looked like. She just didn't look good. So we go inside and we grab a beer, and you can totally tell when I'm not into the date because I start talking about my surroundings and what's going on. I'm like, oh yeah, this bar's nice.
I love Lamp.
Yeah, I like the Tin Man. So she was like all into this, right? She's talking to me, and I'm noticing something that her upper lip is kind of like always wrapped around her top teeth. Yeah, exactly.
Like her teeth are dry and they're like up like that.
No. Like I can't see her top teeth because she's constantly. I'm doing the face now, but you can't see it. Like wrapping her top lip around her teeth.
Use your words, Jared.
You understand what I'm saying?
No.
I believe so. Like the top teeth vanish because she has her top lip pulled over them.
Right. Like you're forcing it down and around.
Yes.
Okay.
You got it, Brian? Do you understand?
Sure.
Do I need to draw you?
She got horse teeth or horse mouth. I don't know.
Well, we don't know. We're assuming some teeth are missing,
right.
but she's trying to hide them.
Brian, I can't see her top row of teeth.
Okay.
Because she's wrapping her lip around it.
Right, to hide the fact that they're missing.
You got it?
Yes.
No, he doesn't. Anyway, right? And
Is she hiding her teeth?
yes, but trying to explain to you the way she's doing it.
That's
she
comic
could
timing.
just put her finger over.
Fucking comic timing right there, bitch.
What's that?
See, that's comic timing right there, bitch.
All right. So I'm noticing this, and then finally, I'm paying a lot of attention. I notice when she smiles. Oh my God! I've brought this movie up before when we did our Halloween thing. Sleepy Hollow, Christopher Walken, and the shaved down teeth.
Yeah.
I would have fucking preferred that if that's what it looked like. I get no reaction.
No.
Well, because I'm waiting for you to say what it looked like.
Yeah.
Well, you're not following what I'm saying. I would have preferred it if her teeth looked like they did in Sleepy Hollow.
No,
That's how bad they were.
I'm understanding that you're saying that, but I was waiting for an explanation of what they actually looked like.
Versions of that. what do you fucking want from me?
Oh no, you went into a 5-minute explanation about the fact that she was trying to hide her teeth. I figured you'd.
That's because
do
your
more than...
stupid ass couldn't understand what I was. You're like, she's got horse teeth. I got it. She's got horse teeth.
The story is amazing.
So I see this jagged ridge of mountainous. I don't even know how to explain
It's the Andes Mountains.
Yeah, I mean, it was like ridges, valleys, sharpness, little knives. Kind of a cross between Christopher Walken and Gollum from Lord of the Rings when he bites into a fish. And that's where I suddenly came up and I was like, oh, God, do I have to get up early tomorrow? I start throwing that one out. I fucking seeded that one early.
Did she open a beer bottle with the teeth while you were there?
Brian, she could have held up 5 to her fucking mouth and then just kind of did them all in one shot. So I was like, well, this isn't going to go anywhere. And I'm really trying to find some kind of redeeming quality to stick around because it was a Saturday night. She proceeded to talk about drugs. I mean, anything you could possibly think that would happen to a white trash kind of ghetto person. Deadbeat husband, doesn't take care of the kids. Guess what? I didn't graduate high school, which I had to put on my best shocked face. Like, you really? No. Meanwhile, I'm like, please, guess that in 5 minutes. And the whole time this is going on, I'm like, keeping my distance from her. I'm trying to keep at least a chair length away from her. Right? She keeps edging up closer to me, edging up closer to me, edging up closer. And I keep moving back. I was like doing musical chairs. I'm like moving around the chair, the stool. I'm going all over the fucking place.
Were you afraid she was going to latch onto you with her teeth?
Listen.
You kept edging away from her. I said, were you afraid that she was going to latch onto you with her teeth?
Yeah, I heard you, man.
Oh, okay. I thought you didn't hear me.
So I did my 2 beer queer and got out of there as quickly as possible, feigning I had continuing education at Sunday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is unheard of, but church. So that's how I spent my Saturday night. I know not nearly as interesting as the other date. So Brian, I don't care what Ian thinks about this. Did you hear about the new news from AMC?
I did.
That they could be working on a Preacher show?
Yes, I didn't realize that it was only a rumor. I thought it was like a foregone conclusion.
Well, I did a little more investigating. This is all based on a tweet from Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen put a tweet out that said, after 7 long years, I'm finally getting my wish to the project, and he sprinkled in some Preacher names in there.
What, Casey and Tulip and...
No, he did Saint of All Killers and Arseface and something else.
Oh.
I can't remember. I don't know why he's involved in it. It may be. I hope he's not the Preacher.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I mean, or we could get another Green Hornet debacle.
I thought maybe he was like producing it or something. Maybe he was somehow getting involved in that fashion.
That's what I'm thinking.
Writing it. Maybe like treatment for screen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know, about 4 or 5 years ago, HBO was trying to get the show done.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole deal fell through. I don't know why. I don't know if Seth Rogen was even involved then. He said 7 long years. So, what does that mean? Someone tell me.
I have no idea, but I hope they're not hiring him based on his performance in This Is the End.
Which, by the way, did you hear, was the last movie rented at Blockbuster?
Yes, I did hear that.
Oh, that was so great.
Going out in style.
Yeah. So I actually feel that if this does happen on AMC, I'm happy that it would be on AMC. But man, if it was on HBO, how great would that have been?
Yeah, but you know what? I think AMC could do. I mean, AMC has shown that they can do quality television with Breaking Bad, and with all the ups and downs and whatnots of the what is The Walking Dead. It's still overall a well-produced, good-looking show.
Oh, no. I'm not doubting the production value of the show. I'm just saying, HBO has a little more leeway to go with things, and having read Preacher and some of the places they go to in that one.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I mean, yeah, AMC will be a little stunted there, but better than, say, ABC. All right. So anyway, we're happy about this, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if it comes to fruition, yeah. Any further bringing more comic books and not just superheroes but actual other stories to television is always, I believe, a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, better AMC than anything else, than a regular network. Although a Netflix thing, I could have handled that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so as we find more about this Preacher thing, like I said, being rumors and all that, I'll let you know. But I am super excited, especially since I got to drink a beer with Garth Ennis in a bar one time.
Is that your claim to fame?
That's one.
Oh,
just one. You know my others when I was living in New York City.
I don't remember them. You'll just have to remind me.
You don't remember the time that you and I ran into Drew Barrymore's mother and she had a gun in her pocketbook?
Oh, yes. Down in Union Square? Yes, I remember that.
Okay. That was my first brush with her.
And that wasn't the only time you ever ran into her, right? She had been in the video game store you worked in, hadn't she?
Yes, that's how I knew her. That's why when I saw her and she recognized me and we talked.
Right.
And she had completely flipped her fucking lid at that point. Because she opened up her purse and showed me the hand cannon. And I said, all right, I got to get the fuck out of here. Let's move on, because I don't want to make this a fucking marathon one. Did you guys hear about Batkid?
I did. I was really excited about it.
Yeah, I saw President Obama's Vine regarding Batkid.
Oh, he got a lot of shout outs this week, Batkid.
Yeah.
Obama, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Ben Affleck. And I don't know if you guys saw, there's a little minute video from the Arrow crew that did one.
I did not see that.
Oh, I didn't. I was told about it and watched it before the show. It's pretty good. It's Arrow, the chick, the hacker chick, and the black guy. Wow, I can't remember any
Smoke and Diggle.
Smoke and Dig. Yeah.
I said Arrow, chick, and black guy. And they're all in the little basement that they do all their work out of. And he walks in. He's like, I've been out on patrol for 8 hours. There's no crime. And they're like, Batkid's on the job. We don't know what to tell you. And he's like, oh, well, what do you guys want to do? And they're like, I don't know. You want to get something to eat? Yeah, let's go get something to eat. And they all leave. And they're like, thanks, Batkid.
That's a pretty amazing. I mean, just the simple fact of what it's for. It's a pretty amazing effort they made to put all that together, especially the DC people doing all that stuff and the president, and it's pretty crazy.
Oh, you didn't hear it? DC's suing the kid. Copyright infringement.
Why would you say that?
Because it was funny.
I didn't know what to think of it at first. I was like, is this the truth? What is going on? Oh.
On a more serious note, I don't understand how Make-A-Wish works. Like,
right, I'm with Brian. I don't understand why that one got ramped up to that scope. Like,
yeah, I mean, I know that you can
like 99 out of 100 of them are like, hey, sure, you can go to Disney World. And then this one is like, yeah, we'll shut down the city and make you the coolest kid on the planet.
Yeah, I was wondering about that also, but I wonder if like DC pushed that through. Like DC's like, we need some good press. We need a lot of good press. Oh, hey, Man of Steel came to DVD. Let's
But I mean, it's not even like they just shut down a street. I mean, they did a whole production for him where he was inside buildings and saving women, and I mean, it was nuts. They had 2 Lamborghinis out. I mean, who the fuck footed the bill for this?
It had to be DC.
This is one of those low rent 1 Lamborghini operations. They had 2.
I mean, it had to be DC, right?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know. First of all, I don't know exactly what the kid's wish was. If he's just like, I want to be Batman, and they're like, you know what we can do? We can totally turn this to our advantage. Or, I mean, he specifically, I don't know anything about this. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure how Make-A-Wish works. Like, what if your wish is to get laid before you die? Do they have to honor that wish?
No. I was gonna say I don't think anything like that. It's like stuff like, oh, I want to do drugs before I die, or I want to do this. Nothing that could be considered detrimental to them.
Right, or that's out of their scope. You can't be like, I want my Make-A-Wish to be, I want a blowjob from Scarlett Johansson, and she's got to show up and blow you. That doesn't seem plausible.
All right, let's get this over with.
Well, I mean, listen, maybe they'll make the effort. We don't know if Scarlett will be in on it, but we asked her.
But
Does that work? I don't know.
We have this other woman named Roho Johnson. She said she'd do it for 50.
Wait a minute, Roho Johnson. That's who I went on my date with on Saturday.
It all comes back around.
Kid, don't do it. But either way, it was a pretty amazing effort. I mean, I don't know if the kid really even understood the scope. I hope that he probably lives long enough to realize that and look back on it, especially all the videos and stuff, and be like, wow, people really went out of their way for me.
Probably not.
Oh, you think he's going to die?
No, he probably just won't appreciate it.
Well, what's funny, too, is when you go on YouTube, people today amaze me. So you see a little video, a news clip of the Batkid, and he's doing all this stuff. You go down to the comment section, and everyone's like, oh, that's great. I'm really happy for him. And then there's just that one guy who's like, fuck that kid. Mm-hmm. Why does he get to be Batman? When I was 5 years old and didn't have leukemia, nobody shut down the street for me. And now, clearly this guy can't be serious, but people still engage him and be like, you're a fucking asshole. To which he replies, I hope that kid dies, man. It's horrible.
Number one rule of the internet, don't feed the trolls. Come on.
I know. Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. But anyway, that was a nice thing. I was happy. Almost brought a tear to my eye watching that kid run around.
To your cold, black heart.
I know. He beat a little bit like the Grinch.
Uh-huh. So, hey, folks, if you'd like to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on Twitter at ProdPod, or you can reach the show at prodigalsonspodcast@gmail.com. Leave a comment on our website, prodigalsonspodcast.com, or comment on our iTunes link. You can listen to the show on iTunes or on Stitcher, or you can grab it through the RSS feed in any one of those podcast-type listening devices on your phones. Or you can download it right from the site. We always are happy to hear from you, happy to hear your comments, your reactions, anything you'd like us to talk about. Please tweet us, #ProdPod. And you can also look us up on the Facebook page, facebook.com/prodigalsonspodcast. I'd also like to remind you that we do have an Amazon link at the top of our page. And if you click through that, if you're shopping on Amazon this holiday season, you can purchase your gifts through there. It doesn't cost you any extra. We just get a small advertising fee. And gentlemen, I'd like you to know that we've received our first purchase through the Amazon link this past week.
Yay!
Someone actually purchased a Kindle through our link. So thank you. That's a pretty high ticket item. So I'd like to thank the individual who purchased a Kindle Paperwhite 6-inch through our
Brian, can you explain to Ian what a Kindle is?
It's a thing that you read books on.
That's for suckers. Exactly. Sounds like a library.
You could actually probably watch. No, I was gonna say you could probably watch movies on it too. Actually, on a Kindle, can you? Kindle HD, Fire. I don't know. All that crazy crap. So that'd be funny if you got a Kindle and then watch movies on it. You can also find us on YouTube. There's a subscribe link to the YouTube channel on the side of our page. Or you can go to YouTube and look up Prodigal Sons Podcast. We have a few of the shows up there. If you prefer to sit at your desk while you're working and play it on YouTube or watch the pretty videos that Jared edits into it, go ahead.
Last week's show has a small clip of Ian winning money at the casino.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yes, it's right in the beginning and sparsed in there a little bit more.
Just like slow motion?
When Ian's name is mentioned, that picture shows up.
Every time?
Every time.
That's awesome.
No, it's not every time. It's at the beginning and the end.
Okay. All right. That's my pimp spot.
Yeah, thanks for the no warning either, buddy.
Well, there was a next...
You just fucking launched into that shit.
It was great. It segued well.
Yeah, I
you
figured
shot out of a
cannon.
cannon.
We talking about the other item.
Before we start talking about the most overhyped portion of the show that people have been, for some reason, waiting for like 4 weeks now.
Here, somehow work this one in, Jared. If you'd like to buy the Man of Steel Blu-ray or DVD, you can purchase it through our Amazon link, especially after hearing us railroad it.
The Man of Steel came out on DVD and Blu-ray?
Yes.
and I can buy it through our link.
Or you can do what Ian did.
What's that? Buy it at Walmart?
Yes. In a completely different
The
state.
show is a fucking train wreck.
What are you talking about? That's a terrible segue. And I'll take it back and buy it through Amazon if you'd like.
No. I wasn't trying to. Jesus Christ.
Ian, we're commenting on your response to what Brian said.
This show
He
is a
just
train
doesn't
wreck
get- he
waiting
doesn't
for
get
this
it.
part.
Yeah, I know. But in all honesty, Adam, have you been waiting for us to discuss Man of Steel?
Oh, I've been waiting a long time.
It's been brought up to me on multiple occasions. When are you going to talk about Man of Steel? When are you going to talk about Man of Steel? I said when it's timely, when you can buy it through our Amazon link.
And no one
Right.
mentioned it to Ian because Ian doesn't tell anybody he's on a podcast.
Also true. This is known. But
So anyway, the movie did come out on Tuesday. We all managed to watch it. One of us went completely out of his way to watch it.
yeah.
We
That's okay.
tried multiple ways to get Ian to watch it, and in the end, he had to end up and go and buy it. You actually paid money to see this piece of shit.
Hold on. Save your review. You're spoiled.
No, I love it. It's my favorite movie.
Spoiling it. Since Ian had to go through all that work, I think Ian should be the first one to talk about it.
Okay, Ian, would you like to give us a small review of Man of Steel?
I will. I will do my best. And hopefully both of you are sitting down because much to my, I don't want to say surprise because I'm sure it could have gone either way, but I am as close as I've ever been to completely agreeing with you guys. That movie, now, while not
shit.
the way you guys just totally unload on it was, way too far, but it is a genuinely awful movie from almost start to finish. Like, the acting is bad, the story is bad, it's got holes the size of my oversized head. It's just, the effects are gratuitous. I'm really sad that I watched it. I'm really sad that I paid money for it. I'm going to have to figure out a way to take it back, and I think I did. That
So
movie's so goddamn bad. I don't know. I'm so upset with some of my coworkers. I don't know what movie they watched.
Wow, I feel really good, Brian, because do you recall, I might have been episode 1 or 2, where Ian said, I know I'm going to love this movie because you two hate it.
Yep.
And Brian hadn't even seen it yet.
I'm going to have to listen to that episode because I don't know that I made that claim, but I was willing to think that because you guys are down on a lot of things.
Well, that was
it's certainly not the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, but boy, I'll never watch it again.
Well, that was the conversations because we had both unloaded on Superman, even though I had not even seen it yet. I was just relaying what I had heard, and you're like, "Oh, I've heard it was the greatest thing since sliced bread." And then we had another conversation later where Jared and I again unloaded on something, and you're like, "Well, now I know I'm going to love Man of Steel because I love that thing that you hate."
That seemed like the most likely scenario, and I was completely wrong. I did hear the reviews, and until I talked to you guys, I had only heard positive reviews, but that movie was just a fucking turd.
I actually went and saw it in the theater. So, Ian, much like you, I did pay money and probably more money. Oh, no,
Right.
probably less money. Less money.
Well,
But I didn't have an option to get my money back. And when I walked out, I was like, I think that's not only a bad movie, it's one of the worst movies I've ever fucking seen. I rewatched it again for the podcast.
Right.
And I might have been a little too harsh on it back then. It is no way a good movie.
No.
But as I was watching, I'm like, it's not the worst movie I've ever fucking seen. But it's the worst written movie I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I fully agree with that. Even the parts that I liked, I was feeling confused and misled.
There were, like you said, there were major holes in everything. There were so many things that didn't make any sense. Brian.
So
Nuts.
you, Jared, you oversold it. I think when you were like, "This is the worst movie I've ever seen," and then you just adjusted that right now when you said I rewatched it. I may have been a little hard. I rented it, and I was texting Jared while I was watching it, and just out of the clear blue sky because
Wait, hold on a second, Brian.
Good.
Keep going. I might be able to find these for you.
Uh-oh.
Go on.
So I texted him out of the clear blue sky, did not tell him I was starting to watch it, and I just started texting him. He's like just lolling at me because my texts were like, "This movie is a jumbled mess. Like the whole first half of that movie is a complete jumbled mess as far as I was concerned. And then I was like, oh, the first 3 minutes, not only do we find out that Krypton is exploding, but also there's a military coup happening, all within the first 3 minutes of the movie. I hate this movie already.
Okay, first text from Brian regarding the movie, which you just said. This movie is a jumbled mess. There are very Bruckheimer-y moments in this.
Non-stop.
Oh yeah,
finishing up Man of Shit. That's a good one. I have to let it ruminate. It's definitely messy.
I was talking about the shit I took, though. I wasn't talking about the movie, though.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Well, I got to get these in order.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
No, so yeah, I needed to have some time to let it settle. But that whole first half of that movie with all the flashbacks, I was like, this is who the fuck wrote this movie? I feel like it.
David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan.
Well, I know Nolan was involved, but he was only a consultant, wasn't he? Didn't he come on and be like, no, make it darker?
He was a producer, and he wrote the script.
Oh, Jesus. But I wonder if he wrote it in that time fashion, or the editor felt it would be better to edit those like in that order.
Well, if you remember Batman Begins, I don't know how much you remember from that, but Batman Begins is almost told in the same fashion. You jump into something in the beginning, and then it fast forwards to the future, and then you get flashbacks of when he's a kid. It goes back and forth just like Man of Steel.
But did the parts in the current timeline make sense to what they were jumping back to? Because they didn't make diddly sense in Man of Steel. He's grabbing the clothes out of the back of the car after he comes up with no clothes on out of the ocean, and they flash back to something where he is on the bus.
Right.
No. The scene after he grabs the clothes, he's walking around the town. He sees a short bus drive by, and then he remembers the scene where he saved the bus.
Right. Okay. It's after he came out of the water saving the oil riggers. He got some new clothes, saw the short bus, remembered the bus incident.
I enjoy that it had to be the short bus. Weird.
Well, he saved the short bus. If it was a big bus, he wouldn't have remembered it.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't mind that part. The flashbacks were not confusing to me at all.
No. Oh, I didn't say they were confusing. It was just a mess. I felt it was like the narrative was a mess.
Oh my God. I mean, Batman was almost the same way, though. It goes to like past.
I've got to rewatch that because I remember Batman Begins being one of the better movies I've ever seen.
Well, it opens up where he's before Batman. He's like in that Chinese prison. Flashes back to when he's a kid. Flash forwards to when he's like a young adult before he's Batman. Back and forth to the present. I mean, but again, I didn't have that problem with Man of Steel.
Flashback and then flash forward to current time. I don't remember it being back and forth like you're describing it.
Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it too, but it was definitely in that vein.
I feel like you're right. It was Chinese prison, flash back to a kid, and then back to present time, and this is how I became Batman.
Anyway, I felt the whole first half was a mess, and then the story was not compelling, and it, like I said about the Bruckheimer moments, I think it's the scene where Zod is addressing everyone over whatever device they have. It's coming in over the phones. It's on the RSS feed. Like, what the fuck? Who cares? So, but it was like Bruckheimer's vision of America at some point in time where there was a scene like right out of Armageddon. I think it's Armageddon, where like they're running in the farmhouses in the background, and like I don't know. It's just so. It was so bad.
See, I actually kind of enjoyed that part. Now, let me tell you why, though.
Okay.
You're talking about the scene where Zod addresses the world.
Yes, in general, I liked that part, like how he was doing it, but the visuals that were going on during it, I was like, this is like a Bruckheimer film.
Well, no, the visuals, yes, were very reminiscent of an Armageddon Independence Day, where you're going across the globe and you're seeing it in Chinese, you're seeing it in Spanish, and this and that.
Apparently in Klingon.
And in Klingon, yes, for the nerds.
Yes.
But I like that because they were playing up the alien aspect of Superman, and it kind of gave me like a 1950s UFO B-movie feel, which I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was brief enjoyment, 3 minutes? and then it goes back into the regular thing. But I didn't mind that so much.
Well, from what I understand, that's what they were trying to get at with the film was the whole alien aspect, because Superman is an alien, and if we ever found an alien on Earth, it would be a big fucking deal. So, I mean, that's pretty much how they played it up. Like, hey, this dude's an alien. Hey, we don't fucking care. He's not one of us. Give him back to the aliens who want him. I don't care. So, I mean, I don't know. It was just really not enjoyable for me. After, like I just said to you before we started, I'm like, I watched it a week ago. I can't remember half of the movie.
Well, I took a bunch of notes, so I'll bring up a lot of stuff for you to remember.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is this movie really suffers from two things. It suffers from the fact that the Batman movies were so popular.
Yes. Oh, totally.
Yeah, that dark, edgy, gritty feel of the Batman movies, and Hollywood is too stupid to figure out how to come up with a new idea, so they're kind of just like, well, the Batman movies were gritty, so we should make Superman like that, right? Like moody and emo and that, which doesn't really work for Superman.
Well, they could have also looked at Green Lantern and said, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
I doubt that was even in their realm of thought. They're just like, Batman equals Superman, do that. So it suffered from that one aspect of that the Batman movies were made the way that they're made. And that worked perfectly for those Batman movies.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that was a great vision that they had.
I fully agree.
Suffered from that, and it also suffered from the fact that Superman Returns, the Bryan Singer one, was so awful.
From that?
Yes.
Yeah, explain.
And I'll tell you why it suffers from that. So now you get a dark, moody Superman movie, right? And in Superman Returns, that movie was so like dated and lighthearted and 70s Donner-esque kind of, because it really was a tribute to the original Supermans, the Donner Supermans.
Yeah,
sure.
And he doesn't throw a fucking punch in that whole movie. Not one. He does a lot of lifting, but he throws no punches. So they're thinking to themselves, okay, that movie was not well received. Why? Because Superman didn't punch anything. So in this movie, have Superman punch everything.
Right.
It's Superman punches the movie. So you get all that crazy over the top shit. Are you following my logic?
Yeah. I just like the name of the movie.
Superman punches the movie.
Superman punches the movie.
I like your version better because mine was actually Superman just punching the movie.
Right, no. And then I thought about Superboy punching the bubble wall, and then it all went crazy. Sorry.
So you take these two things, and now you, based on all that, this is what is produced out of that.
Hellspawn.
Yeah. Where, I mean, it's like, and I mean, the action sequences in that movie are not awful, but they are so over the top.
Well, I mean, it's two superhumans. It's not actually just two; it's multiple superhumans. So you would expect it to be somewhat over the top.
Yeah, I understand that, but you also get, and here was my second note. Krypton is a fucking mess, and Jor-El is a total badass. Did we really need all that?
Did we really need that Jor-El was a badass?
Yeah,
well,
did we need that whole
was unnecessary, but yes, we did.
That whole Krypton sequence that was reminiscent of Avatar and a bunch of other movies all mixed together.
It was kind of a bad mashup, but it really went to drive home that their need to remind us that Superman is indeed an alien. And even though it was poorly done, I liked the fact that they swapped out his time in Smallville for his pre-life on Krypton.
What the hell are you talking about?
He means that they, instead of wasting time showing
How was that hard to follow?
Clark as a youth in
Brian.
Smallville, they spent more time showing him or showing his pre-life or right after he was born on Krypton, and that's where they filled the movie with that instead of filling the movie with, hey, I'm discovering my superpowers and I could lift shit really hard and do this. They skipped that.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. But I mean, I just had figured at this point, you're like, if you don't know Superman's origin, right? We've told it in multiple movies. You're not even going to watch this. But I see what you're saying. They spent a lot of time on Krypton in the first Superman as well. Almost as much time.
Well, then they also had to give the whole story for Zod. I mean, they had to get Zod into the negative zone.
Phantom Zone.
Sorry. Fuck.
Sure.
I'm a terrible comic book nerd.
There is a negative zone.
I know there is. just wrong.
Okay, but did we need the whole? I mean, I don't know how much you remember that from that sequence, but we have Jor-El whistling for like a flying bird and jumping on that.
Yeah.
And then diving off of that and dropping like 1,000 feet, and he's swimming under. I mean, he was like, it was all jammed into like 8 minutes. I looked at it, I was like the 8-minute mark. I'm like, there's craziness going on all over.
It was unnecessarily gratuitous. The only real problem I had with that was, so at the end, Zod is explaining to me how Kryptonians work, and they are made from birth to perform a specific function: soldier, bureaucrat, scientist, worker bee, something of that nature.
Yeah.
So now we have Jor-El, who is from birth programmed to be scientist, Zod, who is programmed from birth to be ultimate defender of Krypton. Jor-El just whoops him like crazy.
Apparently Jor-El must have been genetically engineered to be like Brad Pitt in World War Z.
Apparently.
I can do everything. I'm a super scientist.
One of the things that disappointed me about the film.
Yeah. I'm a super fighter. I know everything. I'm an
like
engineer.
Russell Crowe. Don't get me wrong. He was one of the only people I enjoyed in the movie.
His acting was good.
Yes, his acting was good. I also enjoyed Michael Shannon. Is that his name?
Yes.
Yep. His acting was good. The writing he had was pretty bad.
Yeah, the material they had to work with was not
right.
Super.
And I thought Lawrence Fishburne did an okay job.
Doing what?
Yeah, what?
Sitting behind a desk?
Amy Adams was so bad, I was actually physically just shaking with rage. And whoever the hero was, he was terrible. He shouldn't be allowed in any more movies ever.
Cavill?
Yes, he was terrible. His delivery was terrible. Again, he suffered from really poor writing, but man.
He may have also suffered from being British and speaking in an American accent. I don't know.
It was bad.
I don't know. He never really felt like Superman to me.
Not even kind of. There were people who I wanted to like. I really always enjoy Christopher Maloney, but he was bad. Man.
So I didn't think he was that bad, but beyond the acting, I mean.
One of the main setbacks I found in the movie was Lois Lane's ability to teleport into any scene regardless of her previous location.
Oh, I will get to that. You mean like when the ship finally lands, when Superman's going to give him up himself?
Yep.
And they're like, oh, we also want Lois Lane for no other reason than the fact that she's Lois Lane. I don't even know how we know about her, but we're going to take her.
Right.
There's so many other things in the movie. But
yeah,
no,
I mean, there's a lot of holes in it. Like, right. But that part where they asked for her, my head almost fucking exploded. Because I was like, how do they even know about Lois Lane? And then why do they even want her? I mean, I know she gives you a little line where she's like, they were asking me questions and reading my brain. He's like, it's cool they did it to me, but why did they want Lois's brain? Why not his mother? Like, she just met him 24 hours ago.
So they read her mind. What was even the purpose of reading her mind? I don't even remember.
Well, they never show it. It happens off screen.
No, but she says, like, they read my mind and blank. Didn't they? Doesn't she say?
She said that they were asking her questions about him.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, they had him. I don't know why they needed her.
They were figuring out why they brought her with him.
Yeah, just like, we have her. Might as well do something with her.
Okay, so a lot of the things I remember about the movie being like, why is this happening? So he goes on the ship, and it's the Kryptonian atmosphere in the ship.
Oh, God.
And he's like, oh, my God, I'm going to, like, puke up blood and spit some shit out for a little while. And, but now I've gotten used to it. Meanwhile, later on, when Zod's helmets break open, and his men's helmets and shit break open, they don't have the same reaction to Earth's atmosphere. They don't start puking up blood, and
their reaction is the same that when he was a little kid, when he was like 8 years old. Remember that scene where he first gets his powers? That's what their reaction was.
I understand, but that wasn't to the atmosphere. I thought that was to the sun's rays.
Well, that's the problem with the writing of the movie, Brian. What gives Superman his powers? Is it the sun or the fucking atmosphere? Make a decision. It's all over the place with that. Now, typically in the comics, Superman gets his powers from the yellow sun.
Right.
Period. Which, by the way, and a little nitpicky thing, Krypton had a yellow sun as well in this movie, which it's not supposed to.
It's supposed to have a red sun, isn't it?
Supposed to have a red sun,
right?
But they address that too. It's a younger sun, right? And so he soaks up all this stuff. Now, apparently, this doesn't play into anything because as soon as he gets on the ship, even though he's soaked up radiation for 33 years, somehow the Kryptonian atmosphere makes him lose his powers. So what gives him his powers? Is it the fucking Earth's atmosphere or is it the sun? I guess it's both. I don't know.
So then his helmet, Zod's helmet breaks open, and he starts having the same reaction, like you said, that Clark did as a kid. He hears everybody. He can't focus and blah, blah. So what does Clark tell him? Oh, you just have to focus, dummy.
Yeah.
He tells him how to fucking stop it. Like, oh, the same thing happened to me when I was a kid. My mom just told me to focus. Nanner. And then later on, he's like, oh, shit, all I have to do is focus, and I beat the shit out of Clark. I don't understand why, like, what was the purpose? I don't understand.
Well, what I don't understand either is that he was running around the sun for hours. And it didn't seem to affect him at all. None of that made any sense. And then it's, oh my God. I know this is really nitpicky, nerdy shit.
We didn't even get into the whole Christ complex thing in the movie.
Oh, I have that right here, my friend. Space Jesus, Christ pose.
There's at least 2 Christ poses, if not 3, in the film.
You get 2 Christ poses. You get one in the water, and you get the one where he's leaving the ship.
Oh, there's a third one then.
And then you also get where he's sitting in the church and Christ is over his shoulder.
Oh, you forgot about the one where after the bullies start picking on him and he's leaning up against the fence.
Oh, I didn't.
He's got both his arms up on the fence rail, not on the rail, but he's got his fingers through some of the fence holes, and his arms are up like Christ. So there's 3 Christ poses. I forgot about the one in the water.
Yeah, I didn't notice that one. That one, because what I really noticed about that scene was like, they're giving no indication as to why these bullies want to beat up Clark, but he just rips him out of the car. He's like, come on, fight me, for no reason. Other than the fact it was a scene where we can get Clark to not punch the kid.
Right.
How do you write this shit and not think all that I do is add one line like, I saw you looking at my girlfriend. And the scene would have made way more sense to me. Again, I understand it's nitpicky.
Okay, so 3 Christ poses, the picture of Christ over him, and we also did mention the fact that he does say that he's been on this earth for 33 years, which is supposedly
that's right. That's Christ's thing,
Christ's
isn't it?
age when he was crucified. Supposedly
He's
33.
Space Jesus.
He is Space Jesus.
Because there's even a scene when Pa Kent, which we didn't even get to that though, but that was one of the better parts. I did like, what's his name? Kevin Costner as Pa Kent. I thought he did a pretty good job, but Clark says, why did God do this to me? And I kept going, God did this? He made you Space Jesus. But he didn't. He was just like, you're an alien, you freak.
See, I felt Pa Kent went against things that Pa Kent would have done or said. Like,
no. I said his acting job was good.
Oh, okay.
Because I have another thing here. Pa Kent's death. Come on.
Well, besides the 12, I counted it. He waves.
Really?
He waves at Clark for 12 seconds, doing the no. You stay there. I'm gonna die now. 12. It's a 12-second count from the time he shows on screen until the time he gets ripped away by the tornado.
All right, we need to focus here.
No, I thought we were talking about all the terrible things in this movie. That is
no, we are, but I'm like way off point. But yeah, the Pa Kent death scene is. In that one, I looked and I go, oh, Superman let his dad die. He could have saved him. He could have saved him in what you say now is 12 seconds, and nobody would have known.
What do you mean nobody would have known? All those people who were there would have known.
He's Superman. He moves at like light speed.
I don't think he was moving at light speed at that time in his life. He didn't know the extent of his powers. That's why when they say later, like, you have to stretch your abilities, you have to keep stretching yourself to learn all of your abilities, because in the beginning he didn't know he could fly. He just thought he could leap.
Really Brian?
High.
Because Zod got it down in about an hour.
But maybe Zod knew what his abilities could be because he was older and had been on Krypton and been to other planets. I don't know.
I think you're reading way too much into it.
Well, no, that stupid ship clearly told him that he needs to. What's his name? Jor-El. Yeah, the hologram of him clearly told him, you need to stretch your abilities. That's how you're going to learn how to be better. And that's when he goes out into the snow and starts leaping around, and then he starts flying.
And do you remember the scene where Zod throws off his armor and rises off the ground without any practice and just starts flying all around like he'd been doing it for years?
Yes, I do.
Right, and before that scene, doesn't Zod tell us that the reason he can do this is because he is the perfect soldier and he is better than him?
Well, if that's the reason, I don't know, but I did want to address that too. But let's go back to Pa Kent's death.
This podcast is a jumbled mess.
Yes, well, that's because we're all over the place with this movie. But by the way, spoilers. You realize that he sacrifices himself to save a dog, right? Here's what I don't understand the sequence of events in that scene. Tornado's coming. He tells Clark, go over there with your mother under the overpass. He's helping a few people go. They realize the dog's still in there. Clark easily could have walked over and ripped the door off and let the dog out. But for some reason, he's like, no, you go over there. And I guess to protect his secret. But who would have fucking noticed this with this Class 5 tornado, throwing cars around?
Right. More importantly, why wouldn't Pa Kent switch places with him? Like, in that scenario, Jonathan walks his wife over to the underpass. Clark goes back to rescue. The reason that Jonathan dies is because there was so much time wasted of him getting trapped, him getting his foot pinned, him getting his ankle twisted. Now, Clark could have easily, without exposing any superpowers, directly have rescued the dog, strolled back to the underpass, and everybody would have won.
Yeah, even if he can't move as fast as I'm claiming he can,
right?
He still could have jogged out there 35 miles an hour.
Right, even if he moves at normal jogging pace, he's not going to get trapped.
Right, because he's not going to rip the door off. He's not going to crawl in the car to get the dog
right.
out.
Absolutely.
Now, I'll be the devil's advocate and say, no father would tell their child, hey, I'm going to take your mother up here. You go back and get the stupid dog. I don't care. He's trying to make everyone believe that Clark is a normal human. He's not going to be like, hey, normal human son of mine, I'm going to go up here. You risk your life for the dog. He's going to be like,
but what does Pa Kent staying there accomplish before the dog thing even happens? He's just ushering people along. That's all he's doing.
He's being an upstanding citizen.
But he knows his son is indestructible. What?
He's trying to protect the other people, not his son. He doesn't want his son. He doesn't want people to know who he died, so people would know.
I got that, but easily not only did he sacrifice, like by not doing that, he's like, fuck all these people. My son could probably save them, but I'd rather protect his secret.
Well, he basically said the same thing about letting the kids die on the bus.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's doing a lot of non-Pa Kenty things. Fuck those kids on the bus. Maybe you should have let them die.
You see, I didn't have a problem with that line. Because that's him. I understand his motivations for what he does. But like in that scene where he's like, I don't know, maybe you should have let them die. I don't know. He's like, I'm confused because I don't want you to be taken away. At this point, the kid's 18 years old, with the tornado. The whole sequence of events just didn't really make any sense.
He died for his sins.
I guess so. I'm just saying, Superman let his dad die. He could have easily saved him.
But then we wouldn't have that touching moment where he tells Lois that he let his dad die.
Well,
was it Lois? He told Lois that, right?
I don't know.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not listening to that dumbass drivel dialogue. My father told me if they found... Shut the fuck up. To save somebody.
Go punch something.
By the way, I also counted it. Superman saves a total of 2 people in the whole movie.
Is that... I guess that's not counting the family at the end.
Or the busload of people?
No. I'm talking as Superman, and I don't count that family because that family could have ran away.
We don't know. That's the whole point.
Is like,
we don't know what happened to that family. That's what I was addressing.
What do you mean?
We don't know. The last thing you see of the... Okay. Again, we're not doing this
don't
linear,
worry.
obviously. So in the end shot of the film, I don't know why you'd be listening to this if you haven't watched the film yet. As Ian said, they crash into Metropolis's version of Grand Central Station. Zod and Superman are punching each other, and Zod he's like, holy shit, I have I-beams, and starts burning a hole along the floor and up on the wall where a family is trapped in a corner. They're trapped up in a corner. There's big giant thing of concrete.
Really in a corner.
Well, no, there's a big thing of concrete that's blocking them from going anywhere. And then the I-beams are coming slowly towards them, and Clark's begging him not to do it. And he's what does Zod say? You want to mourn? What does he say about mourning for these people? You love these people, now mourn for them. And so then you see again the I-beams are going closer and closer to the family, and then they cut back to Clark and Zod, and he's still moving his eyes with the lasers, and then Clark snaps his neck, and you never see the family again.
I think we have to assume that the family lived.
So is Clark? So there was confusion. A lot of my friends who were discussing the film with me prior to me seeing it were saying, "Is Clark really sad because he killed Zod and he never wanted to kill anybody, or is he sad because that family died and he didn't stop him in time?"
I would have to say he was upset over killing Zod, because if he was upset over the family, I think he would have gone over to where their bodies were.
Who the fuck knows the way this movie's been written?
Well, I mean, listen, you want to even go crazier. One, I still think that family could have moved 5 feet to the right and gotten out of there. And two, if Superman has the strength to break Zod's neck, did he not have the strength to just turn his head to the left a little and, or swing his body around?
Clearly what they were trying to get at was he doesn't want to kill anybody. He kills Zod in order just to save this family. And now setting up the fact that he doesn't kill people. That's not what he does. But maybe he could have snapped Zod's neck about 100,000 people ago.
Yeah, I also thought that too. I was like, look, if you're willing to make it over these 4 people, what about the millions that have probably just died in Metropolis?
Yeah. Buildings being, you clearly see whole buildings falling over in the background in some of those shots.
Oh, yeah.
That crazy machine was tearing the fucking city apart because of the gravity. So, yeah, hundreds of thousands of people died in Metropolis that day. But that fucking last family of 4 that was trapped by his I-beams are the ones that broke the camel's back.
Yes, apparently. But that also goes me back to Zod's motivations and what he does, which make no sense to me as well. Glossing over the fact of how he got out of the Phantom Zone, because they really gloss over it themselves.
That was terrible. Some shit exploded. We were only in the Phantom Zone for like a minute.
Yeah. Because in the beginning sequence, since things seem to happen directly after the other, it's Jor-El sends Kal-El off, Zod kills him, Krypton blows up. Right? All in a matter of 5 minutes.
Yeah, they send him off into space, they kill Jor-El, then they're on trial, then they're in the Phantom Zone, and then the place blows up.
Right.
Boom.
I also laughed at the fact that in order to get Zod in the Phantom Zone, they have to lock you into a tiny little ship and shoot you into a bigger ship and then shoot that ship into the Phantom Zone. It's like a little 3-step process there.
It's the Russian dolls of Phantom Zone.
Yeah, and apparently that ship is still intact in the Phantom Zone and gets... Anyway, right? So when Clark activates that ship that was in the ice for 20,000 years...
Yeah.
That somehow had a Superman suit in it. I don't know. I don't know if you followed that.
Yeah, it had his sigil on it.
Yeah, it had the whole suit all ready for him.
Well,
20,000 years ago.
I did read that there was a subplot, or there was. Oh no, it wasn't a subplot. It was a comic book that was a prequel, and it was about how that ship got to Earth, and apparently it was piloted by Kara.
Supergirl.
Yes.
Yeah, because you see one of the pods is open.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you see one pod.
An open pod.
Yeah, there's one dead guy, one unopened one. But who cares? Because fuck the prequel comic. I didn't read it.
No, but
what
I was getting at was she would maybe have had the sigil of his house, which is maybe why there was a suit with the S on it.
Right,
that's his sigil, right? His family sigil.
Absolutely. You're right.
With the cape and all that shit?
Sure.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm just fucking grabbing at straws, man. I'm trying.
You are.
I'm trying to do how they wrote the movie. Like, let's have a suit on the ship.
So in part 2, if they bring in Supergirl, she's going to go out and be like, why are you wearing my pajamas?
That would actually be pretty funny. I would laugh at that.
Anyway, back to where I was going with Zod's motivation. So he gets the signal from the ship, comes to Earth. He wants the Codex, right?
Yes.
Which is up Clark's ass. Or where is it? It's in his DNA.
Yes.
In his cells?
Yes. It was spread. It's him. He's basically the Codex.
Okay.
I know we didn't. This is the first time we've actually spoken of the Codex, and it's the MacGuffin for the entire movie.
I know, but whatever. We have to assume you've seen this already. So he wants the Codex. Now, I guess he knew that there was some space babies still in that other ship for 20,000 years. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he knows the ship exists because he says when you went to the ship, it activated the emergency beacon.
Right. Okay. So he wants a codex. He's going to use the codex to genetically encode these kids.
I didn't think he was going to use the people from the ship. I thought he was going to do it just to Earth. He was going to put the DNA in Earthlings. I don't know how the fuck it was going to work.
Oh, what I had gathered, because you remember he goes to like this maturation chamber where they have all these little infants floating in matrix like bubbles on the ancient ship.
Yes, that wasn't on the ship that was on Earth already, was it?
That's where I thought it was.
I thought it was on one of the ships that they found with the Earthbreaker.
Oh, well, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I don't know. But either way, so he's going to use that. He's going to encode them. He's going to terraform Earth to make it more like Krypton.
Sorry, the World Breaker, not the Earthbreaker. Apologies.
The World Engine.
Yes, even better.
Yes. I guess ruining the fact that he could have superpowers for all his people. He wants to turn it into Krypton, which didn't make any sense to me. So what I don't understand is that he wants to turn Earth into Krypton and make a new Krypton with 20 or so odd people. That's the whole thing?
Well, to start, and then they'd...
20's not going to get you far.
They'd propagate. I don't know.
I thought you were making people out of pods.
Yeah, but but I don't know how many. There couldn't have been that many kids in there.
No, the thing that makes the pod maker just makes kids.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah, they're
Thank
all designed, and they say you're a worker bee, and you're this, and you're that.
I thought there was a set amount of kids in there already that just happened to be on that ship. I didn't know it actually.
The pod kid maker is just a machine that makes kids.
I didn't know it squirted out more kids.
And get the kid sucked out and put it in the pod machine.
And if you want to buy one through Amazon, you click on our link at the top of the website.
Okay. I didn't know that machine was squirting out kids. Okay, that's good. That makes more sense. Okay, but still, it still begs the question as to why would Zod want to turn the Earth into Krypton and lose all those superpowers?
Well, I think that was the plan originally. I don't think he took it into account that when he took his shit off and he started getting superpowers. I think he was like, I'm too committed now. I have to keep going. I've already committed to this plan, even though I have these awesome I-beams and I can hover and fly and shit.
All right.
Even if he were to terraform the Earth, they'd still be in the, they'd still be next to the same sun. So theoretically, all Kryptonians would have an equal power level at that point, and it would still be irrelevant. And as he said, like half a dozen times through the movie, his only motivation was to preserve Krypton. So if it means giving up a couple superpowers, he would do that in a second.
True.
Even though we know they could all survive on Earth, even if they didn't terraform it.
Right. Absolutely. That did seem confusing.
Right, it's like, well, you've survived here for 33 years. Maybe this atmosphere is not so bad.
Wow, and look at all the shit you can do. Well, enough of that shit.
Shut it down. Shut that shit.
I don't want to be a god.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this movie, man. I didn't like that. That whole scene with the World Engine 2 was messy. It was very like I was watching Transformers, and it was just a bunch of metal flying tornado shit, where I couldn't tell what was going on.
Well, you know what that probably is from?
Bruckheimer?
No.
What?
We talked about this last week, but we didn't. I cut it out about the Kevin Smith thing.
Oh, that's right. You were saying, did you see Man of Steel? And because I had said, if Kevin Smith was involved with the Batman Superman movie, maybe they'd finally get their giant spider.
Right. Well, the story goes, and if you haven't seen An Evening with Kevin Smith, the first one, he tells a story about how he rewrote the first Superman script. This is long before even Superman Returns thing came out. And John Peters, who has been connected to Superman and still, even in this Man of Steel, is still the producer, insisted that, oh yes, Jesus. Insisted that Superman fight a giant spider at the end of that movie. All right. And Kevin Smith, he can tell the story a lot better. He goes into this whole thing about the giant spider and this and that. And then goes on to see the Wild Wild West. And at the end of that movie, and that's a John Peters produced movie, there's a giant spider that they fight. Right. And that's his big coup de grace to the end of the story. But John Peters was the producer on this one, and Superman essentially fights a giant spider in the third act at the end.
I didn't even think about that until you're saying it now. Like, I didn't realize that was kind of like spider-esque. I was thinking more of an octopus, but sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it only had 3 legs, but it was insect-like, sort of. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Probably. And this is why I'm afraid for the Batman Superman movie.
You know, I had so much hope for Ben Affleck and everything like that, but after having watched it, and I'm assuming they're going to use the same writers, I'm with you in this one.
I don't know. I can't believe that I say this, but I don't read Marvel comic books. I love DC comic books, but when it comes to these movies, DC has got their head so far up their ass that they had no idea what they're doing. They have absolutely no fucking clue. They just are blindly scrabbling around trying to make some kind of something magic happen, and Marvel is just eating their lunch.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. And what kills me is that a movie studio owns DC Comics.
They do? Who?
Warner Brothers owns
Oh,
DC.
shit, yeah. Duh.
So it's way worse than you think. It's way worse. Because they could have been doing this for years.
Right. I know. They just have no
And they
idea
just
how to
turn
make
out-
a story.
Yeah, they just turn out Batman after Superman, Batman after Superman movies, reusing the same fucking villains from each. I mean, I understand Zod's are very popular, but did we really need Zod again and Lex Luthor in the one before this? I mean, think of all the Superman villains they could have used.
I wanted the fucking Death of Superman storyline. I think they need to do that.
No.
No?
Good luck.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, that would be cool, but
Or even Red Sun. Isn't there a whole...
well, that's an Elseworld story. I don't know how you could pull that off.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they could possibly do to make this next movie any good.
Now you got me worried. I was really on board for this, but now with all the different heroes showing up, it sounds like it's going to be a big convoluted mess.
Yeah.
Just last week, I was talking about how much I liked this idea. Now I'm... Thanks a lot, Brian. My heart just got a little smaller.
Hey, that's what I do. That's my job. Can we put this to bed? This terrible movie?
So. I think I went through everything on my list.
Did Ian just thank us for putting it to bed?
Jesus Christmas.
I'm so happy that Ian didn't like this.
The
So
show
happy.
or this
The show. What was wrong with the show, Ian?
I assumed that you guys had got together and collaborated beforehand. Like, we'll teach that dick to wait till the last minute to watch the movie and then go try to enjoy his vacation. It's going to be a fucking 10-hour show where we rattle on and on about God knows what. I want to jam this microphone into my eye. I'm so antsy right now. It's
Just smoke
terrible.
cigarettes,
This
man.
is
Calm your
not
ass
the
down.
longest show we've done, by the way.
Jesus.
And Jared will
The
end
only
up
thing
editing it down to about 110.
I'm sure it was just like every other one. I never, ever, ever, ever have anything better to do. This was the one time I did, so I'm feeling it.
I was going to say, that's it. That's what it is. I never have anything to do, but now that I have something to do, fuck you guys.
So long.
Hey, listen, Ian, just to let you know, you're 3 hours behind us, all right? You got a whole night left.
Right? I want to get to dinner. I want to go to the casino. I want to enjoy my evening. I don't want to talk about one of the fucking worst movies I've ever seen for an hour and a half.
I hate this movie. Let's talk about it for an hour.
Oh,
Jeez.
Brian, this worked on so many levels now. We ruined Ian's vacation.
Huzzah!
Just one day of it.
Episode.
I'll try to recover tomorrow.
That's it. It was very cathartic to talk about it. Got it out of my system.
Yeah,
Good.
and we have tons of other movies on the list to talk about at some point in time. I know we want to talk about Green Lantern, and I know even like you said, non-comic book, non-nerd movies even. Just there's so many movies that I know we've seen collectively that we can talk about, but
Sure.
this one just hit a nerve on that second episode, and we just had to talk about it as soon as it came out.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Please.
glad we got that out of our system. But I would like to explore other movies. That's a good point.
Well, listen, you guys are more than welcome to make suggestions for a movie.
I was just discussing today my desire to rewatch There Will Be Blood.
Oh, I just watched that about a month ago for the first time.
Oh, and?
I liked
We'll
it.
talk about it later someday.
I liked it. I don't know if Jared's ever seen it.
Never seen it.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't like Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he's a shitty actor.
You are. You can't even. You gotta be
Trolling. He's trolling you.
You're a dick. Who invites you places?
I hope he gets leukemia.
I was gonna say, and then DC sued him
They could be
For-
Batman.
copyright infringement.
That's it. I'm gonna go change into a nice button-down shirt and some slacks and go to a casino.
Don't forget your nice shoes, buddy.
Oh, I will. I brought them.
Is it a Hawaiian shirt? Do you have a Hawaiian shirt with you?
I do not. I had to give up all my Hawaiian shirts.
Oh no, Brian, he had a nice silky burgundy number, I believe.
Yes.
Sexy.
It was very sexy.
So, Jared, how about those Nye Mets?
They're my favorite squad.
I do love the Mets. I got to support you on that.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times.
Stupid
monkey.
All right, you ready to wrap this up?
Wrap it up, please.
Well, it was one hell of a show, guys. Another one. We really ripped a new asshole into the Man of Steel.
We certainly did. We had our kryptonite gloves on and just got it right in there.
And ruined Ian's vacation in the process, which I call a double win.
It's a win for everyone.
You are easily my two least favorite friends. Adam's
Make sure you come back next week. Who knows what we'll be talking about on the Prod Pod?
We don't. That's for sure.
We don't.
We're going to ruin Ian's vacation a little longer when we call him on Thursday to figure out what the hell we're doing for next week's show.
My life just got that much worse.
Come back next week and we'll murder your ear hole.
Totally. Take care.
See ya.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
And kind of tangentially related.
Is that a fucking word?
Tangentially? God damn it. Tangent. On the side. God damn it.